Yo, it's Reggie, and this is the Mordhau editor map making tutorial. This is going to be for pretty much total beginners, so starting from the start, you want to go to the Epic Games website, download the launcher, make an account, install the launcher, blah blah blah. Get yourself to the Epic Games store and look for the Mordhau editor. Download size is pretty juicy, I think it's somewhere between 40 and 80 gig. Yeah, if you don't have NVN, good luck with that. Once you've downloaded it, you can go ahead and open up the editor. If this is your first time opening the editor, or if you've got a really shit hard drive, this might take a while. So the first thing you see once you open up the editor, message log, we don't need to worry about this. Welcome, we don't care. And this is the content browser. This, we'll get to this in a second. The first thing that we want to do before we start changing things and deleting things and moving things, the very first thing we want to do is make ourselves a workspace. So go to the Mordhau mod manager tab up here from the drop down, make a new mod, just call it whatever you want, and click create mod. And we're all done. You don't have to worry about this templates. You're all done once you click that button. So now when you go to the content browser, you can press Ctrl-Shift-F, or you can come up here and click content. You should have a new folder. You should have your content folder, which is everything that makes up the game of Mordhau, all the textures, models, assets, everything that makes up Mordhau is in here. And then you've got your mod folder, which is what the user will actually download when they install your mod from a server or from Modio. Something kind of important to keep in mind is that every time you use a texture or an asset or a material or whatever, anytime you use any of that, you want to drag it into your mod's content folder. That way you buy yourself a lot more freedom. Rather than making references to whatever's already installed, you can make whatever changes to whatever assets you want, and force the user to re-download your version of that asset. I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute, but just keep that in mind. Whenever you use an asset from the base game, it's just good practice to put it into your mod folder and just make the user re-download it. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is go up here, File, New Level, just pick the default, and here we go. A couple of things, we can get rid of this atmospheric fog, we don't need this. The light source, I'm just gonna... Before I start doing anything, actually, I'll give you guys the tour. Up here on the top right, this is the world outliner. So all of the physical things that are in our world, from the geometry of the level, to the positions of player starts, to the lighting and everything, all of that will be up here in the world outliner. Everything that's actually physically on the map. And all of the variables for all of these things you control through the details tab. This is probably one of the most important things to get your head around. Up here at the top you've got transform. You know, you can change the position of things, you can change the rotation and the scale and all that. And any kind of variables that the whatever it is that you've placed in the world might have should also be in the details. So if I click on this light, for example, you've got the intensity, so you can change the brightness, or you can change the color of it, or you can change whether it casts shadows, or blah 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 blah. All of the variables are all in this details tab. Next to the details tab, we've got the world settings. You don't really need to worry about anything in here except maybe the game mode. Let's just set that to deathmatch. If you wanted it to be skirmish, skirmish is in here. I think battle royale is in here. All of them should be in here. I'm not sure how to go about hardpoint. You might have to check the hardpoint mod page for that one. The kill Z as well down here, I personally don't use this because it causes issues with the spectator. What this is the this is the height that you set, and if a player reaches this height level, it will instantly kill them. Personally, I just use kill volumes, which is just like a static box, and you can just like anything inside this box is out of bounds and will die in 5 seconds. I find they work a lot better. This kill Z has some weird issues with changing the player to spectator and Anyway, in the middle here, you've got the viewport. Hold down right click to move your camera around, WASD to move around the world. Pretty simple. I think you can press C and Z to zoom in and out, and that will reset when you let go of right click. And then on the left here, we've got place actors, and we're going to do the first one right now. I'm going to delete the default Unreal Engine player start, and we're going to find the Mordhau player start. And we're just going to put that in the middle. Over in the details tab, we're just going to set that to 0, 0, and the height, just bring it up a little bit. If it says bad size on it, that means it's clipping into the floor. I'll just drag it up. Something else I should note as well, when you are moving things around in the world in Unreal, you can press Q to be on the translate, which is where you're moving the X, Y, and Z axis, or you can press E to do rotational on the X, Y, and Z. So you can change what angle things are facing, and yep, you get it. Just play around with it, you'll figure it out. Let's put this back in the middle. Okay, this floor here is a problem for me. It's a static mesh, which I don't like working with static meshes just because we can't edit them with the brush editing tool. So I'm going to delete this floor and I'm going to show you guys how I would do it. Come to the geometry tab in the place actors menu and get a box. I'm just going to put this at 0, 0, 0. And up here in our modes, go to the brush editing tool, click on a side of the brush, and we can just drag that out. Let's, before I do that, up here you've got your snap values, and you can set the rotational one or the positional one. We're going to set this to, let's just go 1000, and let's just drag this box, maybe not 1000, let's go 500. And we'll just drag out this brush 500 units in every direction. Okay, looking good. Let's go back to 10 units and go back to our select tool and just move it down a little bit. Yeah, that looks about right. Cool, so now we've got our box brush down. Before I go into blocking volumes, let's just make this map. So I'm just going to drag out some other box volumes and make a wall around this map. Shift 1 and Shift 4 to swap between the select tool and the brush editing tool. That's really handy keybind to know. It's going to make things a bit faster than having to constantly go up to the modes and tighten this a bit. Doesn't need to be super thick. Back to the select tool, let's grab it, throw it on every side. Is that over? Yeah, that's good. That's how I want it. I'm going to go back to what I was saying about the content folder before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Mordhau content, and we're going to find a texture that looks nice. So we can apply a filter up here. Let's just go turn it off and then on for materials. And let's find, we can narrow this down a bit. Let's type in wall, arena vista wall. Yep, that looks good. So what I was saying about the content folder, if I were to just drag from the content folder, if I were to just drag this texture onto all of the walls here, and we can click on it in game and see that it comes from /game/Mordhau, what that means is that when the client loads this map, or when the user loads this map, they're going to be looking at their own version of Mordhau, their own installation, to find this texture. Whereas, if we grab this texture and we copy it, and then we put it into our whatever folder, and we drag it from here, you can see that on the right hand wall, this comes from /game/Mordhau, and on the left hand wall, this comes from /whatever /arena wall. So what this means is that we can make any change that we want to this material, and we don't have to worry that the user's not going to see it. So we can, we can go into this texture or this material, and we can change the roughness of it, or we can do whatever we want to it. And when the user downloads our mod, they're going to be getting that texture straight from us. They're not going to be looking at their local version. So, with that said, I'm just going to quickly make sure all of these come from our mod folder. Let's find another one for the floor, I guess. Just type in the floor. I mean, it's pretty basic, but you know what, it'll do. Grab this, go to whatever, put it in here. Cool. And actually something that I completely forgot to do, I should have done this at the start, is save this level. Because this is really bad what I've just done, because what happens, if you don't save the level, it should be the first thing you do after you make it. If you haven't got a physical file for that level, then Unreal Engine isn't auto-saving it. And you never know when you're going to click a button and Unreal Engine is just going to decide that it did not like that and crash, and you're going to lose everything that isn't auto-saved. So let's call this map FFA underscore, I don't know, box. That name's probably taken, but you know what, it's fine. Cool. Another thing with texturing, I'll just quickly, if your textures aren't lining up properly, you can actually pan it around if this is something that's important for you. You change the directions by clicking on these two arrows, and then you like move it in fractions. It's a little weird to get your head around the first time, but you'll figure it out. You can also scale the texture from here. This is all in the details tab, by the way. You can scale the texture, so at the moment it's 1x, but if we wanted to make it 2x, or 5x, or even half. But I'm happy with it at 1. It looks good to me. If you are wanting to cover not just one surface, but the entirety of a brush, the entirety of a shape, you can grab that shape and go to select and select matching brush, and it will just grab that whole shape. Another thing with brushes is you can make them subtractive. So if we get this one here, and let's just line it up at 0, 0, 0, and then let's just put it over here, raise it up, and set the box to be subtractive. We have a doorway. And you can use that to, we've lost our box. You can use that to make holes, you can use that to shape geometry to be pretty much however you want. You get a lot of freedom just by adding and subtracting boxes and spheres and whatnot. From that, I think the very last thing that we need to do is let's set the blocking volumes. So by default, a box brush will not have any collision for weapon swings. I think they will still have player collision, so you won't fall through the floor, but you'll notice you can swing through the floor and you can swing through the walls. So let's just grab a blocking volume, and we can use our brush editing mode to just make this nice and precise. Sometimes you'll notice that if you can't grab the side of a brush, it's because it's inside another brush. Cool, looking good. We need one more for the floor. Yeah, so we've pretty much made our map. One other thing if you're making a skirmish map, to set the team for a spawn, if you click on the player start, remember this is got to be the Mordhau player start. This isn't the default one that comes with the map. You'll have to delete that. Use the Mordhau player start. And this here, you can set the team. I think 1 is red and 2 is blue. I might have that backwards. Have to play around with that. Yeah, this is looking good. Let's go ahead and save our map. You can see we've got it here, and we are going to build it. Building it pre-computes all of the lighting and the shading, and I think it bakes the textures or whatever that means. I'm honestly not too sure, but you got to do it, otherwise it's not going to look right when you're actually in game. Cool, we're all built. Let's click save all, and we can actually just package this. So let's go up here to the Mordhau mod manager. Let's go packaging, pack it for the client. I'm not going to bother packing it up for the server. We're just going to do the client. I'm going to drag it into my local install and see if it works. Okay, so it is all packaged up. Yep, here it is, whatever.zip. So we're just going to grab this client pack, and we're going to throw it in. If you go to your Mordhau directory on Steam, you go Mordhau, content, custom packs. If you don't have a custom packs folder, you'll have to make it, capital C, capital P. Let's just go ahead and drag that in, and save all this, close it all, and let's open up Mordhau, see if it works. From the console, you just type open and the name of your map. I think I called it box. Looks good. And you'll see you can't swing through the floor or the walls. All our collisions working properly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a couple of quick things I forgot to mention. The first is, let's make that kill volume. Another thing I forgot to mention is we need the customization spots. So we want the character customization and the equipment customization. Just put them in roughly the same spot, doesn't really matter. Let's rotate this a little. Rotate this a little. Looks good, and just because I'm paranoid. Whoops. Let's just pull this in a bit, make sure it doesn't clip on the floor. It does not. Cool. I think we're all good. Thanks for watching.